these out. Y'all know they've got them.
I'm getting ready to start live stream. That's fair warning, huh? Fair warning.
I know you
We're
all
live.
have a car, but I'm gonna hand out another one. Julie, I know you got one. You want here's one.
I don't have one, Lindsay.
Hey.
Oh, you don't?
I don't think I do, I might, but yeah.
Step in and shut the door. Y'all want to step in and shut the door? Yeah. I'll step in the back.
Can I set this here? Will that him follow you?
I don't lock it out.
Are you ready? I appreciate your time in coming with this this morning to the Glasgow Police Department. This press conference is in reference, of course, to the investigation that everyone is aware of into missing military equipment. Chief James Duff and Major Eddie Lindsay will be speaking to this final report, and with that, I will turn it over to Chief Duff.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you all for coming this morning. I've got a few words to say, then I'm going to turn it over to Major Lindsay. We started this equipment audit on January the 2nd. And as you all are aware, this audit is because I wanted to be sure of what we were in control and command of at the Glasgow Police Department. It's very important. And since I was appointed as the interim chief of the Glasgow Police Department, I feel like it is my responsibility to the department and to the community to find out exactly what we have and if we had anything missing. Major Lindsay has worked on this for approximately 4 months now. Military surplus equipment missing. When Major Lindsay started on this audit of the military equipment, we didn't have a foundation to really get started from. We just basically worked off a record of what we had acquired from the military surplus website. Once we got that, we started making some inquiries, and we found out that we had several generators that we had received, but we couldn't locate those generators. Through his investigation, we wound up locating 15 generators throughout Barron County. At this time, we still have at least 6 generators missing. Numerous tools, computers, cameras, and etc. I made contact with Captain Clark of the Kentucky State Police and asked for their investigation to this military equipment. Captain Clark, Trooper Adam were very helpful. They gave us some very good pointers. A couple of weeks ago, I spoke with Captain Clark again, and basically he said he was going to let us know that this is going to be based on an internal issue that we would need to deal with here at the Glasgow Police Department. At this time, we have exhausted all leads on the military equipment. We have a lot of military equipment still out there missing, but we've followed up on every lead that we've had. We have recovered quite a few items, but there's a large amount of equipment and items still missing at this time. I want to thank Major Lindsay for his hard work on this audit. He's put a lot of hours in, put a lot of time in. It's took a lot of his time from the department. As you all know, we have a lot of investigations going on at this time. We're very busy. I also want to thank Captain Clark of the Kentucky State Police and Trooper Adams. They have been very helpful in this part of our audit and the investigation of this mission. I will turn it over to Major Lindsay, but I do want to let you all know that Major Lindsay and I both will make ourselves available next week for any further questions as far as after you get. We're going to give you a packet today of the case. The case is a closed case, but any leads that we get, we will follow up on. We just feel like at this time we have got to move on, and we've got a lot of other issues going on, a lot of business going on, a lot of investigations going on. So we feel like we've done the best we could with this investigation this time, but we will follow up on any leads, and we hope that this coverage and this media will get information, we'll get this out, and we can get a few more leads. But we will make ourselves available to each and every one of you next week after you get your packet today, and if you have any questions regarding the packet. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Major Lindsay, and he will explain some of the packet to you.
As Chief said, Julianne's prepared, I think, each of you a packet that's going to lay it out and explain to you what it is. We opened this case up to kind of see what this administration is going to be responsible for in the military surplus items. Like he said earlier, you know, we didn't have a great foundation to start on with this stuff. Going back to 2014, when I was put in charge of this, I had a little 4-page sheet that you have in front of you right now that says this is what we got and this is when we received it. That's what I went off of in the past 4 months, last 4 months, to try to maintain a record and document everything that we have. If you look at your packets, or you don't have to look at it right now, but if you look at it, you'll see there's some highlighted stuff, and they're marked. There's a mark beside them. All those items are items that we have. We have obtained and ID'd and documented these as being items we have in possession at this time with the Glasgow Police Department. Like the Chief said, there's according to these documents, we received 20 generators. These are some gas, some diesel, rather large generators from the military surplus program. We've obtained information as to the whereabouts on all but 6. And those 6 still remain missing at this time. We don't have any idea where they're at. There is a few other items on there. A lot of those items, in particular, on the last page, it's there's a couple of automobiles on there. That's going to probably be a question as to where are those automobiles. I've checked, and the military can not confirm nor deny that those vehicles were ever picked up and received by the Glasgow Police Department. Record of having them, they don't have any record of us picking them up. And how that may have happened is we may have applied for those and just never went and picked them up. Because to my knowledge and to anybody's knowledge right here now, we have not received any vehicles. And again, with speaking with our liaison from state police that is over and oversees the military surplus items, he doesn't have any records of us ever picking those vehicles up. Those would be the only other 2 large items that are in question right now. That's pretty much all I got. Can you think of anything else?
What about the all-terrain vehicles on the first page that you guys don't have highlighted?
Okay, they were not shipped. If you'll look at the top of the page, there'll be actual date and then shipped or date provided. Though there has no provided date, so those items were not shipped. those first like 7 lines were items that were not shipped. And then on the back page, involving the automobiles, the 2 sedans, there is a date, but there's not a price, a value on those, which leads me to believe there may have not ever been picked up as well. But they do show up on our list of inventory that we did have.
Has the government contacted you guys and asked for anything back, or said that you can't participate in the program any longer due to any of the missing equipment?
Several months back in 2014, they contacted us a couple times on a audit. They will do an audit, and they will give us a specific list of 15, 20 items, and we will have to provide documentation that we still have those. And most of the time, those include the bigger things like the anything that's of value with national security. You know, there's sleeping bags on there. They don't care about the sleeping bags, but they do periodically send out those requests on some of those items. And if you'll look near the of your packet, you'll see there's a financial loss investigation of property loss. Those are what we fill out. That's the first time I had any dealings with this was in 2014 of February. That was when then Chief Turcotte, put me in charge of the stuff was going to need to be probably categorized and, you know, photographed and everything. When I took this program over, Lieutenant Colonel Graves was in charge of it, and we had, as the chief said, very little documentation as to what we had. Nothing was photographed, nothing was inventoried, and nothing was a lot of the stuff was. Everything that we have in our possession right now is documented and inventoried, and we know exactly where it is. But those sheets on the back, those financial loss, that's what we fill out when they request something. If you'll notice, these particular financial loss sheets go sighting and ranging equipment, and it tells the value and how many and all that. So I have filled those out on 2 occasions, and most of them are small items like optical things. Now, to answer the first part of your question, I think, do they ever want anything back? Requested we send some items back that were inadvertently sent out. We had all of those things, which were binoculars. They were in-car binoculars that we used in all the patrol cars. We sent all those back to the military, and they have those back. Now, those will be on your sheet as we've received them, but they've been sent back as well. Requested we send back.
Another thing I'd like to say about this equipment, even though it's military surplus equipment, this property and this equipment belongs to the city of Glasgow. It's our property here, and it is missing. And anyone that has any information about this property, let us know if you've got any leads or seen any of this equipment. But it does belong to the city of Glasgow. Taxpayers of Glasgow have spent tax dollars to go pick up this equipment, transport all across state lines to get it here for us, for our use, for use in the city of Glasgow. So it belongs to the city of Glasgow. Each and every one of those generators put to a good use in many of the volunteer fire departments and storm shelters, which is a great use for those, but it comes at the expense of the taxpayers of the city of Glasgow. Our main issue with it was when I took office, or when I took this position here, we had no record of anything. We didn't know where any of this stuff was. We knew it came into the city, it came into the department, but no one was able to give us any record of any of this equipment. And we're talking about generators, some of them the size of Volkswagen cars with diesel engines. And so it's not a small piece of equipment. This is very large equipment. very expensive. And like I said, anybody has any information about any of this equipment, tools, computers, cameras, generators, please give us a call, and we'll follow up on any leads that we get from now on out. We did close this investigation. We feel like we've done our due diligence in trying to investigate and locate and log and come up with a list of equipment that we do have, so that we have some accountability and responsibility. But along with that came we found out that there is a large amount of equipment missing, a very large amount of equipment. And like Major Lindsay said, some of that equipment that is missing is considered sensitive equipment, rifle scope, and what was the other?
Any kind of night vision optics?
We have some of that stuff that is missing, so that is considered sensitive equipment, and that equipment cannot be resold or transferred. So we are looking for that equipment also.
Did this letter that you guys received from the state police have anything to do with when you started this 2000?
That is my initial thought. Exactly, yeah. If you read the letter, it says we are put in jeopardy. I think what you're reading, correct? It says we're put in jeopardy. They never did put us off of the list, but they did say that we were going to be in jeopardy if we didn't get these things filled out. Now, I can't tell you how long that laid on the desk before I got it, quite honestly. But then, once we got it, you can look at the letter, which is, the letter that I have is February the 11th, is that correct? Is that when you have? These were sent in on February the 19th. So, you know, when I got it, the 19th, if you see when it was received by then Chief Turcott, it was received on the 19th. We got it and sent it in immediately. So, you know, that's the only communication we've had between them, that we had any issues. Like I said, in the past, what they will do, they will send out it's all computerized. You do it on, you'll verify or that you have this equipment. Send them the documentations that they request to make sure you've got what they're asking for.
I noticed that, in Lieutenant Colonel Turcotte says that a copy of his report on this issue was located in the department command notice files that had been removed from his office. Were you able to ever locate those?
No.
I haven't located any.
Okay.
Only documents that I've received from him are the documents relating to the letter and an audit. And the 4 pages that you see that are highlighted, that's what I had to work off of initially, start off of. That's all I had. I didn't have any invoices where we picked up the stuff. No bill of ladings or nothing of that nature.
And then he also said he wrote a report on the issue and submitted it to then Mayor Troutman, on some missing things. Have you been able to talk with current mayor, or has anybody been able to locate?
I've not talked to anybody. When these things were first noticed, it was in a previous administration, and was items missing to my supervisor, which at that time was him. And I reported to him, and where it went from there, I don't have any control over. He told me, you know, what to do, what to follow up on, and, you know, this, that, and the other. When Interim Chief Duff was named interim chief and wanted to see where we were, much of the property that was really missing, because we knew the generators was a big question, because we had heard that there were some generators missing. I knew there was some generators missing because I'd obviously done the inventory and tried to document these things, so I knew this firsthand. The information was relayed on and passed on, and nothing was really picked up on my knowledge. Nothing. Chief Duff came in and asked me to investigate this again and try to find these missing generators, which, like I'll reiterate here, I think he said, earlier that we'd located all but 6, and most of these generators are throughout Barron County, serving the fire departments and tornado shelters in a very good capacity. They're doing a good job at what they're doing, but we didn't have any knowledge they were out there. Somebody had given them to these people without any documentation. That's unacceptable. You can't just give out a $15,000 generator and not document it to something or somebody. I mean, and that's where we're at. And we've got documentation on those things at this point in time, so we do know where they're at. Like you said, all but 6 of those.
Were any of those found in private homes or private property?
One was found on private property. He's a fire chief. I can't recall the guy's name. I think he was an Adams. They set it out in his barn for preparation to build a shelter to, I guess, get it installed. And I don't remember what fire department. I dealt with so many, but there was one that was not utilized at this point in time, and their reason behind it was they didn't have the money to get it hooked up at this point in time. But we know it's documented to where it is, and we know where it's at.
Did you find any of this equipment on private property besides the generators?
Yes.
And what was it being used for?
I don't have any idea. Some of the private property, after WBKO ran a story, kind of called us and said, hey, look, we've got some of this stuff, and it's all in your packet as to who's got it, where they got it, and all those things. I'd have to refer back to that to kind of tell you exactly where it is, but I think there was 3 different individuals that returned items after seeing the story that WBKO ran initially. I guess that was in January.
Did you determine who provided that equipment to those folks?
We determined it by the statements of the people that returned it, yes.
What'd they say?
Lieutenant Colonel Graves had given them these items, and then Chief Turcott.
Lieutenant Colonel Graves and Chief Turcott?
Yes.
And
Each one of them, both of them were implicated into giving these items to these people separate times. And I don't recall who give what, but not both of them together give the same guy these items.
What were the items?
It's in the packet. Yeah, everything's in the packet there. Basically tools, maybe a camera, a laptop. Yeah. Tools, laptop, and I think camera was pretty much it that we have knowledge of right now.
And were those people in any way, shape, or form involved in fire emergency service providers?
No. Well, one possibly could have been. He was a dispatcher.
And I guess you guys have all that stuff back now.
That's correct. Yes, we do.
The Beretta firearm still missing.
To my knowledge, yes.
When a firearm like that's given, is that given to a certain officer? Is that documented? Like, is there a way to figure out the exact person to be responsible for the hangman?
You want to handle that?
Yes, and basically what we're trying to do is more just give you all information about this military question of yours. That weapon was I guess you could call it a retired service weapon that we had stored in the vault at the PD where we just moved from. The weapon had been there several years. in the vault, separate from the evidence vault. And actually, it was a weapon that had been to a different service weapon. And the officer who that weapon was assigned to was off sick. When he came back to work, he received his new weapon. That weapon never made it to the trace, so it remained in the evidence, or in the vault, the upstairs vault of the OPD for several years. I mean, it was just an old Beretta 912 that laid there. Once we started to move down here, there were several, myself and Sergeant Lewis both made contact with then Chief Turcotte to let him know there was a missing weapon. And at that point, I never heard anything else about the weapon. The weapon has been entered as a missing weapon from the Glasgow Police Department. It's entered, so if anybody anywhere runs at any law enforcement, runs at vehicle, or runs at the serial numbers on that weapon, it'll come back missing from the Glasgow Police Department, and it will remain entered until it's recovered. But that's the only firearm that I believe that we have missing at this time. But it's not an evidence weapon. It is a retired service weapon, Beretta 92F pistol, 9mm.
Beretta what?
92F, 9mm pistol. And the only other thing I'd like to say on this, we've exhausted every lead that we've had on this. We've followed leads, and we've had this told us and that told to us. We've been to other counties. We've talked to people, and you all's coverage of this has helped recover some equipment. I'll let you know. I mean, as soon as this got out the last time, we started receiving some phone calls. Some people started letting us know, and we received some tips that were good, some tips that were not good. But we followed up on every tip, and we will continue to follow up on any tips or any leads that we get, because we feel it's our responsibility to try to locate every piece of this equipment if we can locate it. But in the meanwhile, we still have a lot going on. We're very busy, so we've got to put this behind us and move forward. Major Lindy's been, like I said, great working on this. He's had some other officers assigned to him. They've all worked very hard to try to recover this, and we feel like during our rebuilding stage, it's our responsibility to recover everything that we can recover and putting our department back together. And we feel that we've done our due diligence. We appreciate you all's help for getting it out for us, and we appreciate your patience. I know everybody's contacted me, and that's one of the main reasons for the conference. I spoke with Julianne last week and let her know that we were bringing this case to an end as far as what leads we had, and she recommended a conference and say, hey, let's bring everybody, because everybody here has contacted me at one time or another. Some 20 times, some about 10 times. Everybody has contacted me about this very audit or this missing equipment. And I appreciate you keeping us in your thoughts, and we're doing the best we can with locating this equipment. But I feel like we've 14 generators. We're not saying they were being misused, all of them. But we're saying that when we walked in the door here and took over and being accountable for equipment here at the Glasgow Police Department, this department, we had no information at all. So to come up with 14 generators out of 20, I feel like we've done a lot to recover this, and we still have a lot to try to recover this equipment and get it back to where it belongs, because it belongs to the city of Glasgow and to the taxpayers of Glasgow.
Again, we appreciate everybody's attendance today, and we will touch on just one more item of going on within the police department as far as investigations. We did send out the press release yesterday afternoon about a missing family from Glasgow. I've had a couple of questions this morning already, and we do have at least one item of information to add to the report that we sent out yesterday, and that will be in the form of very shortly. After this press conference is over, I just need to get with the team and make sure that we have the latest information to give you, so that is forthcoming. You can look for that within probably the next 2 hours.
I do have one question. Do you all expect any kind of criminal charges to come out of this investigation?
It's possible, very possible. If the leads get us to where we can pursue criminal charges, we will pursue criminal charges.
Based on the information you already have about how some of the information was dispersed that I'm reading here, do you expect any charges against, anyone?
Not
Based
at
on what
this,
you have so
I think that, I'll have to speak with the, city attorney and Mayor Doty and get back with you on that question there.
The scopes and the night vision opticals or whatever, do you have serial numbers on all of them when they were shipped?
And I'll let Major Lindy address it.
Most of them have a NSN, we do have those, and obviously they do have serial numbers and things like that. Now, if you'll look at your packet, not a lot of things, they all list a serial number on that, or an item description. They don't have a serial number as what you would think as a regular serial number. There's two numbers. There's an NSN and a DTID number, and those numbers do not mean anything to the producer of that item. What those items are, they're assigned numbers by the military. So, as a serial number for those pieces of equipment, we don't have. We have to go on that NSN number. Is what we go off of everything on.
The gun that you guys referenced earlier, is that part of the military surplus equipment?
No,
or is that
no,
something
ma'am.
else?
Again, Chief Duff, as he said, will make himself available next week. If you'd like to call and make an appointment, he will address things with you one-on-one if that's preferred. Thank you.